Hey, you guys, it's Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. And I have this amazing couple, the Sotos from Florida. They are friends of mine. They are with me at EXP, and they are just killing it over there in their marriage and in life. And I thought, holy crap, we need to bring them on because there's so many people that have turmoil in their lives right now, and you guys are just blossoming. And so I'm super happy that y'all are here today. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here with you today.
Thank you, Trisha, for inviting us.
Yeah. You know what's interesting to me is I was out yesterday filming for the American Dream, and I was interviewing, and I ended up interviewing two different people yesterday. Both of them were husband and wife entrepreneurs. One was a fitness industry and one was a restaurant owner. Both of them had been together for years. Both of them absolutely love working together, and their businesses are thriving. And I thought, holy crap, and I'm interviewing y'all today. This is too crazy. Something in the air, you know?
Absolutely. I think it's a great privilege when you can work in harmony with your spouse, with your partner, and it's so much more fun. It's more fun when you have someone who is like-minded, who supports goals and dreams, and it's just a daily part of it,
Yes. It's a blessing. So for everybody that doesn't know you guys, give us a little bit, if you could, the viewers, a little bit of a backstory, like what part of Florida are you in? How long have you been in real estate? Where were you prior to EXP?
All right. You want to start? Okay. All right. Well, we are in Orlando, Florida, and prior to EXP, I was a dental assistant and Josh was a truck driver. And we made a decision. We talk about it in our book, but we made a decision to transition into real estate. We were lacking something that we really wanted to do, something that would help other families and be able to impact other people's lives. And so when we learned of this opportunity, we just said, you know what, this is a no-brainer. We need to do this. So 15 years ago, we took the class, took the exam, and we have been working together ever since in this Central Florida market. Josh originally is from Paterson, New Jersey, and he's been in Central Florida for, I don't know, how many years, hon?
Wow, August, 28 years.
28 years.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And I was born and raised in Florida, and my parents moved from Miami to Orlando when I was just 2 years old, so I was pretty much raised here. I'm a Florida cracker.
So were you guys with another real estate company prior to EXP?
So yeah, in our journey, we came in as just regular real estate agents, right? And so we started with a friend of ours who was already in the industry, had her own office. We were with her for about 4 years before opening our own office. So in 2010, we opened our office, and we had an independent brokerage for 9 years. And so we primarily worked as a husband and wife team for most of that time until we transitioned into EXP Realty.
Okay. So now a lot of people watch this show.
That was 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy. And so the real estate people that watch this, no one ever gets it. I get it because I had my own office too, but people don't. And so I want to hear y'all's perspective on what was it that made you want to leave your own company and go over to EXP? Like, what were some of your challenges and struggles prior to that? What led to that?
So for me, I always felt like we had to reinvent the wheel. And quite frankly, and our goals were a little different when we first came in. Of course, not having any real experience, all we thought was, you know what, let's just work really hard, build the pipeline, and that should be it, right? I mean, what else do we need? We're in this business to buy and sell real estate, right? So let's help some families. And that's what we did. But after a while, it just really felt like we were in a hamster wheel. We're just constantly working, chucking away. And the minute you stop, the income stopped. And so I thought there's got to be something else that we've got to do that we can get some more passive income. We knew that some of the other aspects of real estate was not the direction we wanted to go into. For example, property management. I know it's awesome. But that is not the route we wanted to go with it. I have seen how much work that takes, and I respect those who are in it, but I was like, that is not for me. So I'm looking for other ways that I could still be able to get that passive income and be able to continue in the real estate space and be able to excel and kind of break through. We were at the top of our skill set, so where do you go from there, right?
Yes.
That's my next point. We felt like we didn't have any support. Who do I go to? We're independent. Like, who's there for you, really. And so the next best thing would be to get into coaching. And we had done some coaching. We had realized that there's such a vast amount of different types of coaching, and we were kind of misspending money doing one thing or another. And I thought, oh my God, there has to be a better way for all of this. So, so here we are, we're working hard of our own effort, no support, reinventing the wheel, and just kind of looking for something better.
Yeah. So when you guys were doing it, were you both still selling houses as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. One of the things that just to cover a little bit, Trisha, was we always did well. We were really top. We were top producers for many years in our industry and our background. But at the same token, it got to the point that when we really started looking at our numbers, like diving deep into our numbers, especially 2 years prior to moving over to EXP, we realized that, man, we're doing great, but we can't get over this hump. Like that line, I want to go beyond that. And most importantly, like Rebecca touched on, was the scalability, and not only and that, and plus technology. I think that when people realize that, when you run your own brokerage, there's a lot of overhead when it comes to you carrying all of that cost, and especially when it comes to your CRMs and your websites and all that. They don't realize that there's a massive, especially when you're running your business off those platforms. They don't realize the cost and the overhead when it comes to your monthly costs on that. So when we realized that, and plus the support that we really were looking for through coaching, that we never, we got a little bit of it. I'm not going to say we never did, but we really didn't touch on exactly what we wanted to grow our business when it came to coaching. So when the opportunity came 18 months ago, was approached to us. Well, it was approached to us like 2 months prior. At the time, we already had interviewed with some other opportunities that we had. We just didn't find it wasn't the right one for us.
Yeah, so, we had looked at some other brands.
Yeah, we had looked at some other ones.
We
respect them all, but we just wanted to, we just didn't feel like that was what we were looking for. And when this,
so you guys were seeking,
we were seeking already,
Yeah, and we were looking for what was going to be the next best fit that aligned with our values. Like, what are we looking to do, and who can we align ourselves with? And quite honestly, I kept thinking, we need to align ourselves with a company that's going to take us from here into the next 20 years. Yeah. As I was looking at it, technology is moving so fast, it's exhausting. And this is the IT department right here. Yeah. And the real estate industry is also changing, and we've always pivoted and been able to keep up, but it seems like every time you turn, there's something else, and we're like, we need to align ourselves with someone that can really take us to the next level. Mm-hmm. So we found all of that with EXP, and we are so excited to have made this change. Even now, 18 months later, we continue. How much have we grown since we've made the change, John?
Honestly, I was checking our numbers, and when we started 18 months ago, we're up like over 200%.
That's crazy.
As far as growth is, and on top of that, that's not even talking production. Production is probably triple that,
Oh, yeah. So when you look at it, like, I can understand what you guys are saying, because when I had my company, it was just me. I didn't have a partner like you guys are partners. So it was just me. And so I did the same thing. I was like, it's lonely at the top. And so you seek coaching. It's like, okay, how do I get more? How do I do more? How can I be more? So you go find coaching. But at the end of the day, that's just a coaching call. You're still by yourself. You can't go and collaborate with your competitors. And so for me, when the biggest thing has been, and is still, the collaboration, like y'all are part of my life only because of EXP. I wouldn't have known y'all otherwise.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and you're amazing. Just the story, Trisha, it was very moving, man, and very inspiring, man. And that's why I had to bring you on with our team, and they needed to know who Trisha was.
You know what's funny? It's like, when I posted about it actually this morning, it's like, I just pray for wisdom every day. Just tell me what you want me to say and just use me to speak your words. And, at the end of the day, I'm not out there. I don't care what people think about me. This company, because you get those haters that are like, oh, they say things that they shouldn't say. It's like, at the end of the day, my life is better. My family's life is better. The agents that believe in it are better. And we have just begun. It's like, I can't even imagine what 10 years from now will look like and how many people we will have impacted. That's crazy.
It is crazy. And I feel like we've won because we have come into this community of not just surrounding ourselves with top producers, but a warm family that invites you, that's ready to collaborate with you. And so you have those individuals that you can look up to, but it's also bringing in other people who are just getting started and making an impact in their lives and helping them to start their businesses. To me, all of it, everything that they told me, it was all of that and more. So I'm so excited.
Exactly. And I tell this story, because it was amazing, man. We were driving, meeting some friends, and we were at a stoplight. And I tell you this, Trisha, and I looked at my wife and I said, man, well, did you ever imagine that we will be where we're at in 18 months since moving over? And the reason I asked her that question, because I'm more shocked about it than anything else, I mean, it has been beyond what I expected at such a fast time. 18 months, when you think about it, hasn't even been 2 years yet,
Yes.
Just to see the growth not within us and our partners and even our team members, and just holding each other accountable to where we should be going, and not only us but everyone as a whole. That's what I love about it. We're not here to leave anyone behind. We're going to be together. So that right there, it speaks. That's what our culture is. Our culture is really, work together, grow together, get somewhere together, go hit our goals together. We have to look at all that, Trisha. And I think that's something that, and I say this for anyone that's listening, is that align yourself with the right people. Align yourself where you want to go, but most importantly, they have to fit into what you believe in. And if they do that, then go for it. Don't hesitate.
No. Do you find, I'm curious, both of you, do you find that since joining EXP, your goals have gotten bigger and your vision has gotten bigger?
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think that I could. I think where we were before, even though we were, and quite honestly, it's been, of course, an evolution, right, of success. So we started off great as new agents. It was 2006. And then, of course, what happens? We have the crash, right? Yeah. So the floor is pulled out from under your feet. And although we survived and thrived, it didn't come without some hardship. It didn't come without being in debt. It didn't come without having to file bankruptcy. And so we went from having a little bit of starter's success to then failing completely and not letting it swallow you up and sink you, and just kind of hustling and grinding until you can get scaled back there, right? And being able to come out of that. And then, of course, as you continue building, you start looking around and you're like, what else can I do to go to the next level, right? And so if you're not looking around to see how you can go to that next level, if you're not growing, you're dying. So we kept thinking, we can't die. We need to keep going. We need to keep going.
We do. And, I tell all the agents here in my office, I'm like, it's crazy. The real estate industry is changing so fast and there's so many disruptors coming at us. We have to be like staying one step ahead at all times. And I find comfort in knowing that there's like this like-minded army of people, us, that are like, oh, you're not taking us down. Not today, not ever. And we all feel that way, period.
And I love what you just said, Trisha, because that's exactly what we are, man. We're not quitters. We're just going to keep pivoting and growing together, no matter what, pushing each other. And to me, I love that. I love people telling me, you know what, I think you're doing this wrong. Stop messing around, do it this way. I'm okay with that because they're seeing more in us and myself than what I'm seeing right there at that moment.
And I see the power of partnerships.
Yeah.
And all of us have heard your network is your net worth. And until you begin to put yourself out there, you can't even begin to see what that means. And those opportunities are going to be different for everybody. But if you're only focused on making or working off of 100% of your own effort, you're missing out. And what happens when you get sick?
Yeah.
What happens if one of your family members gets sick and you got to be there for them? I mean, everything could come crashing in a moment's notice.
Yep.
When you have the power of partnerships, when you have passive income that's coming in from other directions, this helps you to be more sustainable. Otherwise, 100% of your own effort, that's not sustainable. There's only so far you can get with that.
No, there is. And I even listened to, I watched the relaunch that when Veronica did it, and I heard you say that one of your biggest fears used to be speaking publicly, and there you were on stage. So give me a little bit that backstory, like what made you get up on that stage, and where'd you get that confidence from?
It's funny because I grew up, I grew up in church, and I remember being pushed up to the front to either sing or to recite a Bible verse as a kid and thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And I remember like forgetting everything and just having that stage fright, and it followed me. And I kind of just let it be. I'm just like that, and I was that person who would go into church late and I left early so that I wouldn't have to say hi to people. It was horrible. It was horrible. It wasn't that I didn't like people. I had this anxiety of having to just kind of be surrounded by people and saying hi. I don't know why. I would literally sweat. I'd be like, oh my God, I can't be in this environment. I don't know why. People weren't mean to me. It was in my head that I couldn't do this. And but I also remember, and this goes back to my Mary Kay days. I was in Mary Kay for a while. And I remember hearing, a lot of shy people don't want to be shy. And I remember that being me too. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to be shy. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to be anxious. I don't want to be sweating, having a nervous sweat when people get around me. How do I overcome that? How do I overcome that? Well, there's only one way to get through it. And you got to step up out of it. You've got to force yourself to do things out of your comfort level, right? You got to stretch, and that pain of stretch is actually good, right? No pain, no gain, right? So I got to tell you that in Mary Kay's, where I got most of my marketing skills, they really teach you so much marketing. And so I learned a lot from there. And I mention them because a lot of the marketing skills that I learned started there, and I was able to apply it into my real estate business. And in the beginning, we were able to be just kind of regular behind the scenes. And then I saw the opportunities where I needed to step up and I needed to teach a class. And I was like, oh my God, can I teach a class? And I knew I had it in me to do it, but I needed to get past this stage fright that I had. But once I started to do it, Trisha, I realized that I love doing it. I love speaking. I love sharing. And it's not perfect. The first few times I was nervous. I didn't know what to say. And of course, saying all the weird stuff, like, why did I say that later? But you know what?
Pull it back.
You get better every time. So I just kept putting myself up to it. And then I would get people who are like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it. I can't get in front of the camera. I'm like, you just start. That's all. Yeah. You just do it. You got to do it afraid. And I heard that in Mary Kay too. The first time I ever heard that, they're like, if you're afraid, do it afraid. And I was like, oh crap. Do it afraid, and you'll get past it. You'll get past yourself.
Well, you are doing amazing with that. And so I would like, I know we have a lot of husband and wife listeners. And so you guys, again, y'all have been doing this for years, and you've been married. How long have y'all been married?
We have been married 21 years.
21 years.
Yep.
So for husband and wives that are listening, maybe they're in real estate, maybe they're in a different industry. What was it? Because you had to have, I'm sure, some kinks that you worked out along the way. What was it that made it be like, holy crap, this is like paradise? What was that? So you could tell others.
I love that.
It's so funny because we are a normal couple. So we do have disagreements, and we do have, times when one of us thinks that we've outsmarted the other, or, some of the greater challenges we've seen after we've interviewed some couples as well is usually there's difficulties either in the roles or in balance. And I think those are probably the two primary places. So the roles, and you guys have to realize where your strengths are and not ask of the other one to do something that's not within their strengths. And so, Josh knew in the beginning that I was super shy, and he never expected me to do anything that I couldn't do. But he also didn't let me sit in there either. So he would be the guy that, because he can talk to the walls and every day, everywhere. And so we would go anything, anywhere. And he'd be like, Rebecca, I want you to meet this person. And I'd be like, inside, I'd be screaming, why? And he would literally drag me across the room. Why can't they just come to us? And we'd be like, going across the room, we're going to meet so-and-so. But actually, I appreciate that now. And at the moment I wanted to die, and then inside I was like, you know what, Rebecca, relax, let him lead you into this. And so we met a lot of wonderful people. It has expanded our network. And where was I going with all that? I kind of lost
how have changed, like from when you were husband and wife in your own brokerage and now husband and wife team leaders? How have your roles changed, or have they?
Right. So our roles. So as we've kind of figured out where we are stronger, Josh has continued to be the main face, working with our clients, going out, meeting the buyers and the sellers. Usually I'll just kind of pop in on a listing appointment. They're like, hey, I'm like, yeah, you got 2 for 1 today. And then I'm mostly behind the scenes with the marketing and everything else. Our social media is up to speed, organizing events and doing the training with the agents. So I'm in that space, and it works really well for us. And I think every couple is going to be different. So it really personalities on their skill level. Sometimes you'll have one person that's been in the industry for a long time and the other one just got started.
Yeah.
So, kind of see where those strengths are. And if you're the new one getting started, don't think that you're going to come in and change everything.
Yeah.
No.
Honestly, what, to touch on what Rebecca said is like, and vice versa, because she's a phenomenal agent. Rebecca has been, 15 years experience in this industry. So it doesn't mean that, she can't close deals or because she can't. Amazing.
Yeah.
And she teaches, I learned off of her some of the things. And, I think you have to really understand, your roles, and respect one another. And it doesn't mean that you have to stick to that role because you guys work together. This is the purpose of not only a marriage, but a team concept. You guys are both team leaders. So, help each other, leverage each other, and, work together, understand one another's, because that's the most important. Communication is key. It's key.
I remember one time, real quick, there was someone in our coaching that was saying, you guys need to divide up your branding. So Rebecca, you need a brand on your own, and Josue, you need a brand on your own. And we were like, but we've always branded together. Yeah. But you know what? I said, okay, let's try that for a minute. And as I got started, I was like, no, this is not us. We are a team. We are a face together. Yeah. And so and I understood his concept of why he felt that would be better for us, but I said, no, I'm not going with that. We're a team, and this is where our strength lies, is being united, being together. People know us together. As a matter of fact, if we show up without the other one, everyone's quickly asking, where is
I bet.
Yeah, which is true.
So, we are the brand. Together, we're the brand. And yes, we could work independently, but it's so much more fun doing it together.
You know what? If you study like some of the most successful, independent brokerages and some of the most successful teams, there's partners. A lot of them are husband and wife, or there's partners. It's usually not just one. So the fact that you guys are husband and wife, I think, is the biggest blessing because you can help each other grow, and you clearly have. So I know that you guys have written a book, so we're going to tell everybody about that. Tell me what inspired the book writing, and where'd that come from?
So do you want to talk about that?
No. No, I mean, collaborate with her. What? You know what? I'll start. Honestly, it was just a conversation. It started off with a conversation, to be honest with you. We brought a great friend of ours down to speak at an event that we put together. Nick Krim, friend of ours. And honestly, we that same day after the event, we spent hours, the rest of the day together. I kept taking him to different events. He was like, yeah, I'm following you. Jumping. We had like 4 different events that day. And we were able to introduce him to some of our partners, and him just sitting back and analyzing a lot of the things that, and people that knew us and what we do for our community and what's important to us, and kind of knowing who we are. I remember when we were at the last event of the day, Rebecca had a speaking part. She had to meet up with, she's part of the Global Alliance for Florida Realtors, and her and the VP are very close friends. So she's like, I need you to be there. So we're like, all right. So we drove down there. Rebecca ended up going in. Him and I, we sat down, and we were by the bar, and he says, man, the more and more I think about it, I just spend my whole entire day with you guys. And I have to tell you guys something. I'm like, what? He was like, I think you guys should write a book. I think you guys got a massive story. And I'm like, what? And here, I'm like, come on, Nick, you're crazy. And then all of a sudden, we got deeper into the conversation. And the more and more I thought of it, I'm like, wow, we do really have a story to tell, and you don't really realize that. And Rebecca said it, we all have a story, man. So write it down, and when Rebecca comes out of this event, he said, I looked at her, I said, oh, we're writing a book. She was like, what? Her facial expression was like something else.
It was so off the chart because we hadn't thought about that. But the truth is, the more and more I thought about it, I said, you know what? We're celebrating last year. We're celebrating 20 years. And this was before the pandemic. And so it was like January. Mm-hmm. And so I said, you know what? I think we do have a lot that we could share that would help others to not only see our journey, but to be able to learn and grow from it. And so that's what we hope as people read this. We share our story from the time that we met until today. And we just hope that people could see, the things that we went through, be able to learn from it. There's exercises in the book and life lessons. And so right now the book is being offered for free. And because it is going to hit Amazon, but right now you can get it for free. All you have to do is pay for the shipping, which is nothing. And so you can go to marriedinrealestate.com and get a copy of the book. But I'm really proud of it. My father, before he's now passed on, but before he passed away, he mentioned he read it twice. And of course, I'm his daughter, so he's certainly have interest in learning about what we went through. But he said, a lot of this I didn't know that you were going through. And of course, there's things that you go through, like during really hard times, during the crash, the market crash. And I said, Dad, we're okay, mm-hmm. And all of that built us to where we are today. So I'm not regretful for it. Hard times build character. So I'm thankful for it. And so if anything could be learned from it, I hope that you guys would enjoy the book as well.
Yeah. So is there plans to write another one?
I think we should. Yeah, I think it's coming in probably next year. We'll start writing on the second one. Yeah. But I think
it's just begun.
Yeah, what's most impressive about the whole thing, just to go back to your question, Trisha, was that we thought about it. Nick went back home and we spoke on and off for a couple of weeks. And you know what? I sat down with her and we spoke and we're like, we should do this. And now remember, this is in the middle of a pandemic. So we just connected every once a week and we just started writing. And all of a sudden we finished this book in 90 days during the pandemic.
Wow.
Completely. Yeah. 90 days. So it was very impressive to see how we were able to me, it was more impressive about how we were able to put this all together in such a short time, and people
so did you time block out times during the day, or did you just write sporadically when you just felt inspired?
A little bit of both, not just when we felt inspired, literally every day, but we had dedicated once a week, Monday mornings, and that was like clockwork. And but then aside from that, because it can't be just once a week to finish that fast, so every free moment we had, we were journaling in there. And so it's just, we didn't know what the book would look like at first, because it's not like we had pre-thought of what this book would be.
No.
We just started with just pouring our hearts out. We just started writing and typing away. And so as we began writing, we were able to fine tune it and really bring it back to what is the message that we want to share with everyone, and be able to kind of craft this book. And it's told in my perspective and his, so you get to hear me tell the story, and then he tells his side of the same story.
So you think it's a book only for people in real estate, or is it anyone, any business?
I think this book is still beneficial for anyone who's starting a new career. We talk about how we transition from being in a 9-to-5 to being now as an independent contractor, how we made that transition. So I think anyone who is looking to begin a new career, who's looking to begin a career in real estate, anyone who is working together with their partner, this is going to be beneficial for many people, even young people getting started, you know.
And most importantly, how to really, you know, at the time that we started our career, we had 3 young ones, you know. So so that was another thing that we touched on that is very important, Trisha. I think that a lot of times is that people tend to forget why we do this, you know that. And I think that by us diving deeper into the purpose of why we continue and we never gave up, it was more because of our kids, our family. You know,
many people, we share that in common, right? If you have children, most people do. Their why is their children, their family. But it has to go deeper than that, right? Yeah. Why do you work for your family? What do you want to provide for your family? This specific medical attention? Is it a certain lifestyle? What is that for you? And so that's going to look different for so many people, but you have to dive deeper into what do you really want to do for your family with this business or with any career that you choose, so that you can excel. And that is going to be your driving force every day when you wake up.
And that was the reason why after every chapter, you know, you have these questions that come up, because it really makes you think, you know, after you've read the chapters, and really to analyze your own personal life, you know. So that's to reflect. So that's why we, you know, we see this book really impacting anyone at the moment, you know, because it really touch on different topics within our marriage, within our parenting, within our financials, within working together as husband and wife team and building business. And it's just so many different topics that we touched on. That's why I feel like this book is good for anyone that wants to read something. You
touched on your kids. How old are they now?
They're grown. So my oldest is 29. My second is 28, and she has a son. And my youngest, my baby, who was like 4 years old when I started in real estate, is now 18, and he's about to get his real estate license. My daughter has her real estate license in Puerto Rico, and she also works for EXP. So
I was going to ask y'all that if part of your why was it to create this family business, or did that just morph into that?
It's morphing, and you know, the kids have had their own ideas of what they want to do, and we support them in that. And as they have continued to grow, they start to look back and say, you know what, maybe real estate could be great. So my daughter made her decision. She had taken the course a few years ago, but then she was really committed about a year ago when she finally took it and passed it and got her license out there in Puerto Rico. So she used to live here with us, but she's now moved on. And so I love her and support her where she's at. And then my youngest, he's still here at home. He's the last one still in the house. And so he's looking, and he's a full-time college student, but also looking to become either an investor or work in the commercial space. So, you know, we're excited for him and how that's going to look for him. So,
and our oldest was our ISA for a little time being. So he knows that. The good part is that they all know the business, understand the business. I think that, you know, what they say is you just plant that seed, Trisha. That's all we wanted to do, is just to plant that seed, and you know what, and let it grow. You know, let them decide. They're adults; they can make their decision, but they know eventually where they want to come back to.
Well, if you think about it, it's like so my kids are 18 to 23, and so I feel sorry for kids. I would not want to be a teenager or a young adult trying to grow up in this world because it's insane out there. And so one of my whys is like, I'm going to build this empire and I want you to go to college and I want you to do whatever sets your soul on fire. But when you ever, or if you ever want to come and work in the business, I'm going to have a place for you and it's going to be golden and your life is going to be full of abundance, you know? And I think as parents and business owners, that's what is required of us, you know?
Yeah, that's important. I mean, I love that you just touched on that because they're always going to make their own decisions, but they know that there's always a space. There's always something here for them, and which I love that. Like our youngest one, you know, he wasn't sure what he wanted to study, so he decided to do study business management because he would rather run the business and understand how
that would help him.
He know that would help him, and he was looking into international sales because of COVID. I said, don't give up on that. Use that as your minor now.
Yeah.
So I think that's great, you know, and just to see them all three of them just kind of understand the business and grow within the business. I mean, that's as a parent, that's our blessings, you know. So
I love that. One thing I want to ask you guys about, you touched on Puerto Rico. So of course there's a lot of buzz in Puerto Rico right now. We got a lot of friends that are moving over there. Are you guys transitioning there? Have y'all bought a second home? You know, I got to ask you this.
Well, you know, we are pretty much settled and love where we live here in Orlando. However, I may consider a second home out there. So we have been looking and been in the market for that. And we love traveling there. It's always a great time. So, and, you know, if you're in a certain tax bracket, it could be a really great benefit for you as well. So certainly we wouldn't say no, but for now, definitely maybe a second home out there. Vacation home.
So I keep hearing about, because there's now so much attention on Puerto Rico, like it's a hidden gem, but it's going to just continue to grow and grow and grow because, of course, now there's a lot of attention to it. So I think by having your daughter there, that's a no-brainer. That was a super smart move, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And about Puerto Rico, it's like unspoiled beauty. It's raw, and it's like a rare diamond that hasn't been fully polished yet, but it has all of the beautiful things that you would love in any kind of tropical vacation, yet it's still the United States. So when you go there, you have a lot of people who still speak English. You have a lot of great food. You have a lot of outdoor activities to do. The weather's always beautiful there. So anytime is a great time in Puerto Rico. So it's definitely a hot vacation spot.
Yeah. And they're amazing. They're so friendly, you know. And what I love about Puerto Rico, like Rebecca said, is that you can go from one side of the island to the other side, to the opposite side of the island, and you see completely different. It's just like it's like you're in another world, like another Caribbean. So just to see the different parts of the island. And matter of fact, people don't know that you can travel the whole island in one day, believe it or not.
That's crazy.
So as you're driving through this different towns and different coastal towns, you could just see how different they are. It's amazing just to see that, you know. So
a lot of raw beauty.
Yeah, so beautiful.
So for people that are going to pay attention to this and look at like, maybe I need to check out Puerto Rico. What's like a price range over there? Is it all over the map?
It really depends on location. You know, you can, if you want to stay, like, for instance, in a metropolitan area, which is like San Juan, you know, anything that's big, Carolina, anything that's a bigger city in the metropolitan area, depending where you want to pay, you're going to pay a higher price. It's like right now, let's say, for instance, Isla Verde, which is right there in the metropolitan area. You're looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo that can range to purchase. You're probably looking somewhere between the 2s and the 4s, which is not bad.
Okay. No.
But then you go to the opposite side of the island, which is more calmer and everything, which is beautiful. That's where the Atlantic meets the Pacific. Yeah, it's the surfing capital of the world. So now you're looking at different price range. You can go from like 40, 50,000 up to $1 million, you know.
Really?
Yes. And like when you go down to the southeast side of the island where Palmas is at and Dorado, where a couple of our partners live at, then you're looking at higher taxes, higher prices. You're talking $500,000 and up, or
they still have condos, like,
and they still got condos in the 200s. So that's
really
Are they golf community, all gated restaurants, resorts. I mean, everything, all inclusive. So yeah, it's a very affordable.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. See, y'all got my wheels thinking too. It's like, you just never know, you know. I know that this world that we live in is crazy, and so the more peace that we can bring into our own lives, I mean, what are we here for? You know, we get one shot at this world. We got to at least be happy while we're here.
Yeah, and that's important. I love what you just said. You know, you have to, you know, work hard, but you also have to enjoy it, man. Why the purpose of why you're working so hard, and I think that that's very important. You know, and just to maintain that healthy lifestyle.
It is. Do you find that because you guys are partners and of course you're engaged in growing the business and that is the intent, but do you find that it's easier to unplug because it's two of you where you're like, hey, we need to take a break?
I do. I mean, we both can be a little bit of a workaholic, so balance we have to work towards every day. But enjoy it. So it's not like a drag. It's not like one of us is pushing the other to do something they don't want to do. But just like that, we also know when to take our time off and just sit and watch TV together, or take a vacation, or take an extra day on maybe a work trip. So we were talking about Cabo, which is going to be a conference in Mexico, and it's a little bit of conference and a little bit of play, and we're all for it. We feel like so, but usually when I do go out to like conferences and conventions, we would take an extra day either before or after just to spend that time together, exploring wherever it is that we go to, because it's not fun to just go into a conference, hit it up real quick, and then be on the next flight out. We want to see wherever that is, San Diego, Vegas, Colorado. We've been to some really amazing places, and so it's just been awesome to be able to share that together with my love.
I love that. You know, also collaborating with other partners and friends and meeting other people, man. We really enjoy that. I'm more like, I like to dive deep in. Like, I like to understand, like, where we traveling. I like to understand. All right, tell me a little bit about your town. I want to know the whole thing.
We will connect oftentimes with people that we know in those places. So if there's anyone, we'll be like, hey, we're going to be in Colorado. Who's going to be there? And so they'll say, hey, I'm there. Come hit me up. And so we'll meet up with people who are in those areas. And so
Arkansas.
I love it. Arkansas, yeah.
Arkansas. I was like, I didn't know anyone in Arkansas. All of a sudden, we realized that we had some friends.
We do know people in Arkansas.
We know people.
Of this company that we're all part of, right? It's like now we have friends across the nation. It's insane.
So, you know, with EXP, you're so right about that, because we feel like we have family everywhere. But we were also part of an organization prior to EXP that had almost that same kind of family feel, which for us was NAREP. It's the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. There's a Houston chapter out where you're at. And we have a lot of friends out in Texas, not just Houston and Austin and El Paso.
San Antonio.
Yeah. And we've not really traveled there much. I think recently I only went once.
I think
before that one time when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think we've been twice. Dallas and Austin.
Dallas.
Well, then y'all need to come to Houston. Come on, man.
It's on the bucket.
So
what does y'all's vision look like moving forward? Are you going to grow this team to a massive number? What's it look like for the Sotos?
So I think we're going to focus more on growing the organization and traveling as much as we can with it, because that is what we enjoy doing, and just kind of focus on growing others. I think that everything that we've learned, we love to share it with other people. We want to focus on building them. I love the idea of building leaders, and so that's kind of where my heart is right now, and what I aim to do to help others grow their business.
Yeah, a pro tip. Anyone that's looking for a change or transitioning somewhere, stop chasing a lead. Start looking for leaders.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, we hear that a lot in our industry, Trisha, and I think that that's important. You know, one of the things that our core value is, we love to build leaders. We want to build, even within our team. You know, we took one of our leaders right now, and we seen so much in her. We just kind of like plug in small little things in her, and just to see her blossom in the last year and a half that she's been with us. Now she's involved as a vice president of WCR and all this, and you know, she's like, And I love that she gives us the credit. I'm like, no, we give you the credit. You took initiative. We just opened the doors for you, and we seen so much in you, and that's who we are. We just want to give. That's what put it this way. That's all our purpose. Mine, yours, and Rebecca's. Everyone we have a purpose in life, and that's to help others and help build others. That's it.
It is.
Live by.
I think that everybody should live an abundant life. And, I think we're all capable of it. It's just like you said in the beginning, you have to surround yourself with the right people. You can either be a turkey or you can be an eagle. You choose. We all have the same choices. And, sometimes you may not be around the right people, and sometimes you have to walk away from them. But at the end of the day, it's like we all have the same 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with yours? It's like, don't be on your pity pot telling me, how poor you are and how hard your life is. It's like, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
And I think I know for a fact that 95% of the world are followers and 5% are leaders. And so, like I was telling my son yesterday, my son is a leader. Clearly, I've just been spending a lot of time with him, and he's 23, and he's just he's seeking wisdom every single day. And so I told him, you're a 5%er. And 5%ers are hard to find. And when you find other 5%ers, you're drawn to them. You're like, I want to go hang out with them. It's like, I just can't get enough of them. That's like us in our relationships. And it's like, when you realize that you're a 5%er, then it's your duty to help others, because most of them are the 95%ers. And so just like you guys are, y'all are constantly giving and pouring in.
I love that you just said that, because hearing your story about your son at 23 years old, and we have some other partners that are at that age, and they're just crushing it in the industry, and it's because it's funny how they rather surround themselves with major leaders and just go to where they want to, and we stand there, we're like, wow, we're like half their age, but to them, they don't see it that way. To them, it's like, I want to be part of that. I want to pull my chair on that table. I don't want to be over here. I want to be part of that table. And just see how they're able to just grasp and grow and just blossom into these powerhouses, man. That speaks volume, man. Our millennials right now, they have so many opportunities that at their hands, honestly, and just take that initiative and point out who you want to surround yourself with, and don't be afraid to ask. Because if you're not asking, you're not getting. You got to ask.
And it goes back to, we are an average of the 5 people we surround ourselves with. So if you look around and you see that the people you're surrounding yourself with are not leaders, they're not taking you where you want to go, they're the opposite, then you need to change your circle. And we're so honored to have a circle of people who they're amazing leaders. And so it's easy to kind of step up and learn from them and come into that space as well. If you don't have that, you'll never be able to see it. It's just too hard if everyone you're surrounded with is pulling you down,
Yeah, I love that. And I love the future that we have together. Even Kyle Whistle says it. He says, if you look at all the reports and everything that's projected, because of COVID, we were all trapped for so long, and we missed that humanity. We missed that synergy, that these events, the next live events, are just supposed to be huge. And so it's like brewing, like, I'm going to miss this Cabo event, but like I explained to you guys, I have to do what I'm focused on right now. I have to. But that's it. There's more coming.
The mission, true to the mission.
Yeah. Don't doubt the mission. Keep following through. And one of the things that I love what you just said. I this year I was on a mission to change some of the things, the way I ran my team and everything, and it's taken a little bit longer, but the steps that we're taking are going to be so progressive now and in the near future. Why? Because the systems are put in place correctly now, and you can always adjust up and down with it. But at the same token, don't be afraid to, break it up and rebuild it again. That's what I'm telling you.
No, you have to always be innovative. You have to be forward thinking, because it's like, this is how we feed our families. This is how we take care of our agents. This is how we take care of our lives. And we got a lot of people depending on us. So it's like, we got to always be moving forward. You can't go back. There's no going back, period. Absolutely. Hey, you guys, tell everybody again where they can find your book and how they can get a hold of y'all. So anybody out there in the real estate industry or any other industry, husband, wives, whatever, these people are amazing. Y'all need to follow them because they are true servants. They have, you know, the Lord's heart for sure. And they are just always out there giving and pouring into others. So I totally appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. And you can get a copy of our book for free right now at marriedinrealestate.com. And I guess the easiest way to find us, if you want to go to sotolegacygroup.work, and you can get all of our links from there. So thank you, Trisha. It has been an honor. We love you and and hope that you continue growing. And we're excited to eventually meet, hopefully.
I'm going to this year. It's going to happen for sure. We got coming up. I'm just going to miss Cabo. That's it. But there's other stuff coming.
There'll be next ones. Yes, absolutely.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. You do the same.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye, y'all. There we go.